Mayoral candidate will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is
a mayoral candidate being challenged. The saga surrounding embattled South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
In a shocking turn of events, Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, appears to be unraveling under the weight of mounting scandals, political chaos, and public outrage. Once seen as a trailblazer, a young, dynamic black woman breaking barriers in leadership, Henyard now finds herself at the center of relentless turmoil. From missed meetings and lawsuits to federal investigations and accusations of financial mismanagement, the walls seem to be closing in on her political career.
Tiffany Henyard was not at the hearing here today, neither was her attorney, and she was not made available for a comment.
Let's start with the most recent developments that have everyone talking. Earlier this week, Henyard skipped not one but two crucial meetings, one in Dalton and an emergency session in Thornton Township. Her excuse? Credible threats made against her and other officials. But here's the catch, no one else seems to have heard about these so-called threats. Dalton trustee Jason House, who presided over the village board meeting in Henyard's absence, stated that neither he nor the board had received any evidence to support her claims. Residents and trustees alike are calling her out, accusing her of using this as an excuse to dodge accountability. As both Dalton and Thornton Township spiral deeper into dysfunction, the Dalton meeting proceeded without her, with residents packing the room to voice their frustration. Public sentiment was loud and clear. Many spoke directly to Henyard, even though she wasn't present, accusing her of abandoning her responsibilities. One resident bluntly stated, "I once heard you quote Dr. King about being the dream. Tiffany, you are a nightmare." Another added, "Come to work, sis." It's evident that Henyard's absence isn't just physical, it's symbolic of a complete breakdown in leadership at a time when both Dalton and Thornton Township desperately need stability. But let's not forget the emergency meeting in Thornton Township, which was supposed to address critical issues like the township's lapsed insurance policy. The lack of insurance has already forced the shutdown of essential services, including senior transportation and other community programs. Residents are furious, as this shutdown has left many struggling to access basic resources. Trustee Chris Gonzalez, who called the meeting, waited an extra 15 minutes for Henyard to show up, but she never did. Without her presence, the meeting couldn't proceed, leaving the township in limbo. Gonzalez later remarked, "We're on a toll road of chaos right now, and unfortunately, the residents are the ones paying the tolls." The situation is dire, and Henyard's no-show only adds fuel to the fire.
Sign on the building right now that says it's closed. For how long, neither residents nor employees know.
Oh, why is Henyard dodging these meetings? Some speculate it's because she knows the end is near. The federal investigation into her alleged financial misconduct has been ongoing for months, and insiders suggest that indictments could be on the horizon. Let's not forget the long list of controversies tied to her name: unaccounted-for township funds, lavish taxpayer-funded trips, and questionable spending that has left Dalton's finances in shambles. A review of Dalton's general fund revealed a negative balance of over 3.5 million currency units, with 40,000 spent on Amazon purchases in a single day, none of which has been accounted for. If that doesn't scream mismanagement, what does?
Again, no comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the general mayoral election.
Perhaps what's most shocking is the sheer brazenness of Henyard's alleged mismanagement. According to sources close to the investigation, township employees have come forward with accusations of financial irregularities, claiming that funds earmarked for community programs have mysteriously disappeared without explanation. One employee, speaking on condition of anonymity, stated that invoices for certain expenses were either incomplete or outright fabricated to conceal where the money actually went. "It feels like every time we ask for transparency, we hit a brick wall," the source shared. These allegations have only fueled public distrust, with many residents now demanding a full audit of both Thornton Township's and Dalton's finances. Adding to the chaos, residents have also expressed concerns about how Henyard's legal troubles are affecting the township's ability to function. With lawsuits piling up, critics argue that Henyard's focus is no longer on governance but on self-preservation. "She's using every resource available to fight for herself, not for us," said one frustrated resident at a recent town hall meeting. This sentiment was echoed by Thornton Township employees, who claim that basic operations have been neglected due to the ongoing insurance crisis. Programs meant to serve seniors, children, and low-income families are now at a standstill, leaving vulnerable residents without the support they desperately need.
Our job is to govern, to provide a way, provide services, and we're not doing that because they're stalling government, gridlocking it, because they can't have their way.
Even Henyard's closest allies are beginning to distance themselves. Political insiders have noted a growing rift between Henyard and some of her former supporters, who now see her as a liability. One source close to her administration admitted that morale within her inner circle is at an all-time low, with staff members quietly resigning or refusing to engage with her increasingly erratic leadership style. The writing's on the wall, the source said. People are jumping ship because they don't want to go down with this. This internal disarray mirrors the public chaos, signaling that Henyard's leadership may be crumbling from the inside out. Her governance, or lack thereof, has also sparked a political power struggle within Thornton Township. Trustees Carmen Carlisle and Chris Gonzalez have been boycotting meetings to prevent Henyard from appointing an ally to a vacant trustee position, fearing it would give her unchecked power. Henyard, on the other hand, blames them for stalling government business and failing to renew the township's insurance policies. The back and forth has created a complete stalemate, leaving residents caught in the crossfire. One trustee even warned that the township's insurance now costs 3 times more and covers less due to the political turmoil, further burdening taxpayers.
Hesitation is that if there's a person in there that will just say yes to everything, I mean, it will set us back.
While Henyard shifts the blame onto others, her critics argue that she is the true source of the turmoil. Residents have taken to the streets in protest, demanding accountability and calling for her resignation. Outside Henyard's mother's house, one protester likened her actions to destroying a valuable opportunity, while others used megaphones to voice their frustrations, symbolizing the widespread public anger that has reached a boiling point. Meanwhile, Dalton's acting police chief, who previously stated that Henyard faced numerous threats, has been unable to provide any evidence of threats resulting in arrests or charges. This raises the question, are these alleged threats merely a distraction from her shortcomings? And speaking of distractions, Henyard has been busy filing multiple lawsuits in recent weeks. From challenging her removal from the Thornton Township Democratic ballot to suing Dalton trustees for allegedly conspiring against her, she seems to be throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. But who is footing the bill for all these legal battles? Lawyers don't come cheap, and residents are left wondering if their tax dollars are being used to fund her personal vendettas.
They just come in, work for the people, not themselves, and have pictures all over the place.
Despite all this, Henyard is still clinging to power. She's fighting to get back on the ballot for Thornton Township Supervisor after losing the Democratic caucus in December. That loss was a humiliating blow, with attendees reportedly chanting goodbye as she was denied the nomination. Henyard has since claimed voter suppression, accusing State Senator Napoleon Harris, who chaired the caucus, of locking her supporters out of the venue. But critics argue that her defeat was simply a reflection of public sentiment. People are fed up with her leadership.
Nobody likes being manipulated, and when you get here, you know that's exactly what's happening.
Back in Dalton, the situation isn't much better. The village is dealing with unresolved issues, from unlicensed animal control programs to delayed street plowing. Residents are also raising concerns about Henyard's alleged late rent payments, which have landed her in court over an eviction case. Her landlord claims she owes over 13,000 currency units in back rent and damages. Though she reportedly moved out in October, the case remains ongoing, adding yet another layer of drama to her already chaotic tenure.
I think it's very hypocritical.
With the February primary approaching, all eyes are on Henyard. Can she turn things around, or is this the beginning of the end for her political career? One thing is certain, the drama is far from over. Stay tuned because this story is only getting started.